everyone, and welcome back to Empire Total War with the Colonialism 1600 AD mod. Last time around we lost the battle against the natives. Since then, quite a few things have happened. I can't remember exactly how many turns, but you can kind of tell if you look what year it was in the last video. So I think it was like maybe 4. Might be more turns, because there wasn't a lot of stuff happening and I was relocating armies and stuff. That was until, of course, just a few turns ago, where we had Spain attack our ally, and we also had France actually directly declaring war on us, which means we have quite the war on our hands, because we're fighting two major powers, Spain and France. And France, of course, went directly into war with us, while we went into war against Spain to protect the Netherlands. And hopefully we can kind of keep these guys alive for a little bit, at least. I like the trade with them. Right now there's a French fleet actually blocking. So stopping all trade with them, which we don't like. So my plan is really, I think France is at war with them as well. But my plan is to either, the main army which I'm recruiting here will be landed to support the Dutch. And so we'll take Brussels, Flanders. Either, if I can create its own buffer state, that would probably be quite great, because then we can keep France and Spain at arm's length from the Netherlands, and they can build up and, you know, keep to themselves there. Also, we get another country we can trade with, which we always like to do. We can trade ivory to them. So that's my plan here, and that's why most of my focus have been going. Most of my focus and most of my money has been going to building an army here. We've got more troops coming down. I actually note that I'm lacking a bit of cavalry. I have 2 pistoliers, and then we have 1 unit of provincial cavalry. But I probably should have recruited at least one of the cuirassier units as a heavier cavalry unit to smash through the enemy. And that is the war in terms of what's going on in Europe. If we head over to... Oh yeah, we might want to just check a little bit what's happening also in terms of how the countries are doing in Europe right now. And the Prussians have been expanding a lot. So I think for the last video we saw that the Prussians had taken Saxony and they had taken Western Prussia. Now they've also taken Bavaria. So they have taken a lot of stuff. Then we also have a bit of update here. Sweden took Norway. They might take the capital of Denmark. They usually do. We can see that they've got their fleet here, so they could definitely pass over. So I imagine this army is going to march down and take the capital. Doesn't look like there's any troops there. So Denmark will be reduced, as it oftentimes is, down to just Iceland. Then Sweden has also advanced against Russia, so they're taking Karelian region and they're taking the Moscow region. Same time we've got the Ottomans back again taking Ukraine. So the Russians not looking too good for them. And that's... Oh yes, unfortunately also... No, yes, now I remember what happened. Spain did not actually declare war on the Netherlands, because they started war with the Netherlands, I believe. What they did was they attacked another one of our allies, which was Portugal. So I'm hoping to re-establish Portugal at some point. So after we're done here, the next target is to re-establish Portugal and then march maybe on Madrid and humiliate the Spanish in some kind of way by defeating them there, taking Gibraltar. Hopefully I could create... I mean, when I take the Spanish capital, or maybe all their provinces in Europe. They should lose all the colonies, but I kind of also want to create them as a puppet state. Would be pretty nice, just to keep them from attacking Portugal, so I don't have to every sort of 20 turns have to send an army to save Lisbon. Then we go over to America, where I've actually moved the armies from here. It seems pretty strange, since I could have just marched here. But this plan to move the troops was actually started long before France declared war on me. The reason for that was there's some kind of bug where I can't actually cross here. So my options to attack the Iroquois would have been to march all the way around here. And then we would have, even then, we would have to pass through French territory. So there was no way, and there's French territory here as well. So since this didn't work, I would have to, you know, there's no way I can get at more of the Iroquois territory. So that's why I sent my troops away. Of course, as soon as I do that, France declares war. It would have been so much easier being able to just march down here. But we have troops on the way. And as we recall from the last video, we had an army that was defeated attacking the Iroquois here. Now it's redone or replenished. So we have Colonial Dragoons and a cannon and a general. And they're heading to Fort Nashwauk here, which the French have not actually put any troops at. So we're going to be able to take that. I've landed my spy over here, so he'll be able to march up, take a look what's going on, and also infiltrate the place. So we know, kind of want to wait those 2 turns just to let the French, or maybe even 3 turns, just to let the French build that stuff so I don't have to. I wonder, do they really have that much money that they would spend 1,500 on this out of nowhere place? And it has, I mean, it has a silver mine, so I guess that's why maybe they're focusing on this region. With that said, we also are at war with Spain, so if we continue down here, we obviously have Spanish Florida, we have Spanish Cuba, and we have Spanish Haiti, or Santo Domingo as it's called right here. So we need to deal with that. So I've recruited a force on Jamaica under Warren Lusted. We've got 2 12-pounder guns and 2 targeteer units that will be transported aboard the British sloop Hector. And they will be landed on Hispaniola, as close to Santo Domingo as possible. Now there is a Spanish fleet present, but that is being blockaded in port by John Lake. Now his fleet is mostly made up of brigs and sloops and lower, sort of smaller ships. The Spanish they have a race-built galleon, which isn't that great. 20 crew as well. So that's probably needing refitting, so that one is kind of out of action, but they do have 2 medium war galleons. San Gabriel and Atalante. Is it Atalante or did I just... Yeah, Atalante. I just said that out of reflex. So the Spanish have 1 arquebusier and they have 1 old demi-cannon. So it shouldn't be that much of a problem for us to land here on Santo Domingo and take this. Which is exactly what we're gonna do. And the sloop, will go ahead and join John Leake's fleet. Santo Domingo is a really good island to take, because there's a lot of places that can be developed here. It has tobacco, it has sugar, 2 sets of sugars as well. It's got grain, which means that the population of the island can increase. A lot of other islands lack that, so there's always a problem with food shortages, which only really be negated by, I think, increasing the governors. That doesn't actually affect it, but technology to fix that. So it has all of that, but it also has 3 ports. So it has the port over here, it has another port over here, and it has a port over on this island. So we got lots of ports, a really important place. Then of course Cuba is really important as well, because it's basically the same. It's got a little less ports. I think it's got 2. Yeah, it's got the Santiago de Cuba, and it's got one over there. And then we've got a village there. So it's a very nice area, and if we could take this before the Spanish are able to put up enough troops, that would be very nice. I think I've made all the moves. I just want to show where this fleet is going then. So George Rourke is carrying the main of our North American force, and he's going to bring it around. Now we could land on Newfoundland, but the thing is that is not an important war target. Supporting them here could be a possibility, but I am pretty gutsy, and I think we're going to go directly for Quebec and take New France. And then we'll be able to march down through here and deal with the Iroquois. This army, I'm pretty sure, will be able to take Fort Newark. There's not going to be any problem from this one later on. If the French are able to build up a large force at in anywhere in North America, it's going to be in their American capital of Quebec. Plus it's got a great big fort, so it would be nice to take that out before they have built up any good troops. Oh yes, and then Ivory Coast. I've organized my fleet into just one, because I could split it, but I'm afraid the pirates will attack me. Now, I'm pretty sure I will be able to beat the pirates, but the thing is, the trade fleet, if it gets a lot of hits, lose cannon, manpower and so forth, we'll lose so much income of sending them from here to the closest port will be Jamaica. So that will take, you know, quite a few turns to get them back there, and in the meantime I'll be losing a lot of money. If you know, say I split this one, I think if I have 4 ships, that's enough to deter them. But right now I have 7. So if I split them, it will be 1 with 3. And I think the pirate might attack that 1 with 3. So we don't want to do that. I think, somewhere. Yes, I am recruiting some more. Oh, and part also, I have recruited 2 war galleons. Yes, that was the move I was going to make here. So we've got this one. We really want to open up trade here. So we want to attack these French bastards and get them out of there. But I also want to block this port, because it's the main port that France traded out of. They have one over here as well, so it would be really nice if I could send someone over there to block that. So they've got a medium war galleon, 142 crew. And I think to deal with this one, I don't think we need that much. They have a pretty good war galleon here. The thing is, I've got 2 war galleons. Or I've got 1 war galleon and I got a Corsair galleon. So I think that will be enough, plus the general. So I think what we'll do is we'll send the 5th trait, Spectre, and Amphibion. So we'll send them to block the port. Starve France of a lot of trade. Then we'll send the 6th trait, Valiant, to raid the port at Brest. And by so doing, cutting off French trade, or at least naval-based trade, completely. Now they still trade with Spain, so they can do that by land. And then Savoy. Italian states, I'm not sure. They've got a port down here, so I guess they'll have to reroute a lot of trade. But they lost 2,500 here, they lost at least 2,000 here, so that's a lot of trade loss. And now we want to attack here. The thing is, I want to do a bigger battle somewhere, so I'm not entirely sure. I think what we'll do is, I'll show this battle, but I'll only show kind of the critical moments. Or maybe what I'll do is I'll save the replay, and I do kind of a quick just showing the ships going against each other. But we need to open up the trade with the Dutch, get supplies to the Dutch, support them, because they are heavily beleaguered, as both Spain and France are at war with them. Oh damn, that's a lot of troops, so we got at least 2 French full stacks, maybe even 2 Spanish ones. Should definitely be quite easy for me to go ahead and take these guys out. Yes, so Edward Russell brings his war fleet with the biggest and newest ships we have, the Corsair Galleon, the War Galleon, and the Admiral's flagship, the Argyle. And without further ado, let's take these French bastards to the bottom of the channel. You probably saw a very shortened down version of this battle, because it actually took me 45 minutes to hunt down these French ships. But hunt them down I did. It seems as though just, I don't know, the amount of damage the cannons can put out compared to the hull strength of all these ships means that you're duking it out for such a long time. And the problem, of course, is with boarding that the defender has quite a large advantage. If you get close, canister doesn't really penetrate the hull, and with the way they've done the accuracy, reduced the accuracy, means the cone of fire for cannons are absolutely insane. It's almost like a cannon on the bottom deck and fire and shoot someone up in the crow's nest on your own ship. That's kind of how weird the cone of fire is. But I was able to do it. However, we took a lot of damage on our own ships. The Admiral boarded one. He lost so much crew, about half of it. This one started off at 165. It went down to 35 in one just massive fight. However, I think we're actually going to take these two ships because it takes a long time to recruit ships. It's a lot easier to repair them. So we're going to take them on. Suddenly we've got trade flowing again. In our case, we only made 500 out of that, but it's going to be very important for the Netherlands to get their trade back going because they made 6,000 out of that. We're going to head back to Greenwich and repair the fleet. Very disconcerting this though. Lots of French troops and tons of French troops and a lot of Spanish troops. I don't know. That will be one hell of a battle. We do have a bridge though. But that is of course if I'm able to land my army in time before the enemy runs them over. And now, with all of those moves, it's time to end turn. And there we are back after the end turn. Successful mission by our spy. Recruitment. Pikemen from Scotland. We've got a new college in Cambridge. Government Council on Moose. A new trading port set up in Liverpool. We're getting 1,000 trade from that. Pikemen start marching down. Cavalry and cavaliermen. And we almost have a full stack now. Got more troops coming in. I think we'll put a little bit more pikemen in this army. Make room for those extra pistoliers. And then it's time to march off. I'm sending down yet another trade ship, so I get 4. Because if I split up at multiple nodes, as someone noted in my Napoleon Total War 3 campaign, if I split them up in multiple trade nodes, I get more money out of that. We're gonna repair the fleet. It cost me 201. That's super cheap. I don't know why it's so cheap. Thing is, I could bypass all of this and probably hit the French capital, which definitely could piece them out of this war. Lots of stuff needing to be built. Continue with this fleet. It is a bit vulnerable because it's not a major fleet and it's carrying the entire army, and I know for a fact that there is a sizable French force here. It's a 28 gun frigate, a brig and a corvette. And we are just slightly above them. We have this 5th rate, which definitely outranks their frigate. We're gonna keep marching this army, so it's right on the border, ready to attack. And it's one more turn, then the road is done, and then one more turn after that. The governor's palace is done, which I think would be pretty nice to have those two finished. We're gonna have the spy now move along the coast here, and it's actually gonna check what's going on in Quebec. I can't see a navy through here, so I could definitely be able to get to their capital. And as we go down here, there was a few movements of Spanish fleets moving down through here, and also I noted that all the way back in the East Indies, a Virginia Company fleet took on a French fleet. Spain trades in spices. Would be nice if they could sink that as well. Keep an eye out for enemy trade. France is trading for 500, 600 roughly. We're trading for 1300. If we go here, is probably the easiest one. Because French trade will be coming out of here from Marseille. So we'll be able to detect how much they're making from here. They're making just about 1,000. And if we check here, we don't even have a French one going here. And then France. Here, wait, let's see. France. 1,000. So they make about 2,000 out of Marseille. So the fact that we were able to deny them so much trade in this area is really good. With that, looks like we've come to the battle of this video, or the land battle at least, which is going to be us taking on the garrison here in Hispaniola, Santo Domingo, Hispaniola. So we have cannons, we have a lot of targeteers, so we'll be charging in, killing them all, and Bob's your uncle. With that said, let's go ahead and claim this island for ourselves. Marching down the main road, we seem to have stumbled upon the enemy force. I have deployed one of my batteries right here on the road. The other one was pulled through the forest and placed here, aiming towards the town. Targeteers were sent off into the woods to hide, until we see where the enemy force is. Okay, so the enemy force has entrenched itself beyond town. They've actually placed the cannon within a trench itself, which is a god-awful idea. You should almost never do that. Now, it does make them more or less impregnable from enemy cannon fire. So enemy cannons is very unlikely to destroy them or kill any of the crew, but you lose so much mobility and you lose such a arc of fire from it. It basically goes kind of like that, and then it extends out a little bit. And given the fact that the AI usually plays the cannons really bad at the start, that's a really shit idea. So the enemy is actually going to meet us. The thing about that is they've got all matchlock infantry, while we have all melee infantry, although the enemy does not know that. So my shock troops will be hiding here in the thick forest of the jungle. And then once we're ready to strike, then we'll cry havoc and we'll slit the dogs of war. Just let the enemy slowly march into our cannon fire. So far our cannons haven't actually hit anyone. Just as I said that, we actually hit one guy. One enemy soldier has been taken out. One, I was about to say French, but I mean Spanish musketeer was taken out. But as they get closer I can switch to canister, completely shock them. I don't think I need that. We've got 400 targeteers ready to charge these guys down. Let's speed it up a little bit so we get through this. The enemy has now marched within canister range, and that is exactly what I intend to fire upon them. I'll actually allow them to fire their first volley at my cannons. Can you actually fire your bloody canister already? Same with you. Clear off that road. Oh, they are retreating for some reason. Did they... They have not unmasked my... Can you go ahead and fire your canister already? Okay, there went one canister, went through, got lots of them. This one not so much. Wonder why this unit was actually sent back. Just fire straight at them then. We've only lost 4 men so far, so it's okay. I think we can do another canister, another round of canister. Interesting that they sent this one back. Like they're expecting my targeteers to be in the forest. Here comes second round of canister. Takes out quite a few of these armed citizenry. And with them losing so many, the enemy is forced to send forward their militia. And I think it's high time we revealed the targeteers. Suddenly 400 men appear in the forest. These guys, are they moving to fire at my general? This unit is definitely going to take out these. Well, this one's going to take out those two. I don't know where these guys are going. The armed citizenry doesn't really stand a chance. It's a 200. We'll attack this one and then we'll snag onto this one as well. Well, now the enemy cannons open fire. Let's see, will they get a volley off into my targeteers? They will, and they got 20 of them. Actually 25. That's actually a surprisingly good volley. And my targeteers are already winded. But now they charge in. And I doubt the enemy's militia will be able to stand up against a dedicated melee unit. It actually says the enemy is winning slightly. Where my guys are inspired by the general though. I guess we'll have to send in the general. Much on that unit. And I guess the other ones can be dealt by canister. The general will turn the tide. I kind of had a bit of an idea of the fact that the targeteers were a kind of a shit unit. I didn't know they were so shit they could not even deal with a regiment of militia arquebusiers. Which was kind of disappointing. The general will charge these guys down. You know what? Let's sandwich these guys with the targeteers. Send the general to deal with the cannon, which is firing into the ground. Hold fire. Hold fire. Also, it seems like the morale is quite a bit boosted here. Now, they did run eventually, but... let's have the targeteers line up on the road. And then... just you can continue to canister those idiots. Oh, now the cannons actually kind of reached over here. Let's see, the general will take care of this cannon. Savages, savages, they are not ready. Is that... halt. Is that... doesn't kind of look like feathers. It almost looks as though it's the same model as the wheat they have in the wheat fields. So I don't know if you put wheat in his hat. Right, so this, I mean, if this cannon didn't have this support right here, he could have swiveled and fired canister onto the general. That's of course given if the Spanish have developed canister. But I mean, their crew is not going to be able to withstand the charge of the general. And they're wavering, they're broken. And we have won. The island is ours. Our colonial empire is expanding. Here's the result of the battle. So we deployed about 140 more men than the enemy. They lost everything, but that's because they're defending a town, so everyone's all hands lost. We lost 100 men. Most kills were actually killed by the targeteers. The one unit that charged into the militiamen. Then the European bodyguard got 80. And we got cannon, targeteer, cannon. Pretty good. And we were able to take the island. Now we're gonna expel this navy. But I'm not sure I want to actually attack it, because we have a lot of ships here that would sink in that engagement. So I'm thinking we keep them under lock and key for now. They're not too happy, the inhabitants of this island. We're gonna need a priest out here. We're gonna have to prepare against a possible uprising against us. I can exempt tax, and then once the governor's mission is built up, I think that will change quite a lot. Now we do make quite a bit of money, but it would be nice then to have access to the port. We also have possibility to build up why can I just build a small tobacco place here? What's wrong with this place? And why can I switch out here? So this was the Pigeon. Where do we have that? San Pedro. There, Pigeon. Why is it just tobacco? Doesn't matter. We'll go with tobacco then. Then, because it's so many, we've got so much sugar now going. The sugar price should fall. It's at 21. It's still higher than tobacco. So we'll get sugar there. So we got sugar, 2 sugars, 1 tobacco. That'll be nice. Any more moves to make? No. I think we can, given that, I mean, time of frame is kind of all over the place now when I did 45 minutes of a naval battle. But I think we can do just so we have kind of a cliffhanger for next one. So let's go ahead and end turn once more. Right. I mean, there's no point in fighting that. Letter of demand from Hispaniola, no surprise there. Workers on strike in Hispaniola, no surprise there. Trains gained. Mistress, no surprise there. More troops recruited. Fleet destroyed. So that means we need to be worried about traveling further out there. Also, the French were able to open up trade by sending a troop to force us out of port. I am able to lock them down though. Gonna get the pikemen in. Gonna switch out 2 cavalrymen for 2 pikemen. Actually, we might 4 pikemen will be part of the army. Thing is, I think pistoliers are more versatile than the cavalrymen. So we'll do it like that. And then I can fit 1 more unit, which will be a cavalryman. And then we got full stack. And then full stack will be landed to try and deal with this. So we'll march over there, and then the rest of the troops will be stationed in London as support. Definitely gonna have to build up my fleet a little bit more if we are to deal with the Spanish Armada. Going back to America, our spy will continue on to Quebec. 1 turn away until this governor's palace is built, so we'll wait for that. My fleet up here will advance along the coast. I could, I guess, land and take this, because there's no natives there. But that's a distraction. We might need the full force if we're going to attack here. Further down, Hispaniola is okay. The problem is that they're all Catholic, so we're gonna have to change that by either building a church on the island or more probably sending a priest to deal with this. Which I might be able to do because there's been a lot of priests moved into this region by the Virginia Company. They've moved 2 of them. So we've got 100% Protestant, and the lower classes are very unhappy that they're still worshipping the wrong gods. So I think it's probably more important for me to turn new conquered territories than trying to cause unrest in enemy territories. So we're gonna march down to Charleston in the Carolinas. And we're going to see about picking them up on one of our sloops. And then my money is running dry because of all the troops I've been recruiting. So we're going to see what is the best way to increase our money. Is really trade. But there isn't any real trade opportunities to be upgraded down here. Fur. We don't get that much for fur. But it is an investment towards trade. Could be that I upgrade Governor's Palace instead, or what I do is we go back to England, and there are stuff I can upgrade here, like the Great Museum. So we're on a good way towards the British Museum. Or we could upgrade Scotland. We do actually make quite a lot of money on Ireland, 3,000. So we make more there than we make in Scotland. 8,000 in England. What we could do is that then. That would make me money. What it would be nice is division of labor. So I could upgrade my ports, which would gain me a lot of cash. But where do we have a division of labor? It should be here. There. Division of labor. So it's 2 turns of physiocracy. And then 6 turns for division of labor, which will be able to upgrade these ports, which will make more trade routes, more cash per turn, and so on. So pretty nice. With that said, that is what we're going to do for this episode right here. So next one, we'll definitely go into some kind of big battle here. Conservatively though, because there's so many enemies there. And it will be the first proper big, like, European army battle, so we gotta keep an eye on that, how we do that. So that could go either way. With all of that said, let's end it right here. So I'll say, as I always say, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.